Hello, welcome back, Box1 here, and today we're going to be looking at this, LEGO Set 21130, the LEGO Minecraft Nether Railway, and it's a very cool LEGO set, and it does also have some very interesting configurations you can put it in. It is completely modular, and it comes with 4 figures, if you count these as figures. 2 if you don't. It's a pretty cool set, so we're going to get into it, show you all the stuff it has to offer, and also just talk about some interesting stuff about it. So, I do hope you'll enjoy. We'll start first with the figures, and the first figure in the set is Steve, a very simple figure, but he does have some diamond armor. He has diamond leggings, boots, and a chest plate. The leggings and boots are combined, of course, but you know what I mean. He also has a diamond pickaxe, which I'll kind of turn him so you can actually see that, and that's just a very simple and common pickaxe that you can get in Minecraft sets. Pretty good figure, pretty common figure. You've definitely seen him before if you've done really anything Minecraft. So yeah, very nice. Good to get him in some armor, at least. The next figure is a zombie pigman, which they will never make again. I believe he was in one set before this, 1 or 2, and he was in a set after this, and then they discontinued him because he ceased to exist in the actual game. They replaced him with the zombified piglin and the normal piglin. So yeah, they recently released a zombified piglin, which is pretty cool. I don't have any of the new sets, I just have these older ones. So yeah, pretty cool. But anyway, this guy is a pretty cool figure. He has some very nice zombie pigment printing on him. He has the skull exposed, the ribs exposed, which is a very cool feature. And he doesn't have any back printing. And as you can see, his side is a bit cracked. That's what pink does. Pink cracks pretty easily in these older sets as well. But yeah, a very cool figure, and he carries a golden sword. Very nice. We can now get into the magma cubes, and this guy is having a lot of glare on him. We'll actually try and angle him to get that off. There we go. But you can see there are 2 sizes. The little one, and of course, the big one. Now, the little one we'll look at first. I mean, he's just the kind of easiest one to look at here. And he's a simple Minecraft head. He comes in a bunch of sets. I don't know if he's still put in sets today. He may. I completely forget, because as I said earlier, I don't have any of the new sets. But he is a very common, very common thing you can get in these sets, and he's just very simple, but pretty cool still. Now the big boy. This, I believe, was his first appearance in a Minecraft set. He's since appeared in different builds, in I believe 4 or 5 sets. I say different builds, he was built differently is what I mean in different sets, and as you can see, he's made entirely out of pieces that easily crack. So yeah, this guy's pretty not hard to find in good condition, but I've found one where literally every piece on him was cracked besides the face tile. So yeah, very breakable. He's a pretty cool figure though. He is, I believe, I don't know how much larger, but you saw before the size comparison of the 2, and he is absolutely ginormous when compared to the little guy down there. A very cool thing to get, and his first appearance in a LEGO Minecraft set. Very nice. Now we can get into the actual set, moving on from the figures. And this set actually has 3 configurations. This is the one you see on the box, and the one I have built first. We will look at all of them here, because, I mean, it wouldn't be a complete review without doing so. So I guess we can get into the set with the start. These are all modules, and that's, I think, an important thing to know. They are all these 6x6 plates here, and you can easily detach them. They are simply connected with orange 2x4 bricks, and I can pop one out so you can see 2x4 bricks, and these are all detachable that way. Very simple, so you can make your own layouts, and that's how they actually make the layouts in the actual instructions. There is one exception. There is this piece, which does have a float play feature, which we'll talk about in a second. That uses 2 of these plates combined into 1. But yeah, just wanted to show you how this is actual modular before I talk about the actual set itself. We should start with the actual start of the track, as you may have guessed. It has a minecart, and any railway wouldn't be complete without one, so that's very nice inclusion. This is a simple, smaller minecart. They also included a slightly larger version in the set that came a year later, which we'll be talking about also in this video, because it does actually connect to this one. But this is a pretty cool minecart. It can sit 1 figure, you guessed it, Steve, or maybe a zombie pigman if you really want, and he starts right at this platform. Now, something cool about this, there's a button here, there's redstone, or a powered rail, which is kind of a cool inclusion. They didn't have to include that, they could just include the normal rails just going around, but that's a very nice kind of show of, I guess, how it would be in-game, because you can't really have a railway without a power source to kind of launch the player character forward. So, say he presses the button and gets launched forward, he can go up the track, and then there is a very nice incline here. It does use some very cool technique there to actually incline those bricks, and that is done very well. You also get on these sides 2 mushrooms in red, as well as 2 quartz blocks that are removable. Now these are simply, well, they've been included in a bunch of sets. They just use studs, plates, and tiles to make that look, and you've probably seen them 1,000 times before. Now, as I said, it's modular, which means it also can come apart pretty easily if you're not careful, and especially if it's not on an even surface. Like this is not an even surface, obviously, so you may see some pieces just kind of fall off at some points, but yeah, very cool. This guy can now come down, and you can see some brown mushrooms there. You do get 2 of those in this set, and now we can get onto the play feature that we were talking about. There's some technic stuff under here, and it simply makes the magma cube jump. So when the player goes over it, the magma cube jumps, and he does that twice because there's 2 rails, or 2 wheels on it, of course, and we'll do that again just so you can kind of see that again. That's a cool feature. That's honestly one of my favorite play features in one of these older sets. I just think that's very neat. Very nice. Now, that track is very simple. Of course, you can also go this way, but it's a very simple track in general. You may get bored of it after a little while of playing, and that's why they include the 2 other suggestions, which we can now get into. And it actually shows you in the instructions how to pop the thing apart, and then what it will become. And that's what we're going to be building right now out of all these pieces that I've carefully laid out here to show you. And these are all the modules here. Very, very many of them, and as you could guess, it is quite a repetitive build, and that's something I'll be talking about at the end as well. But yeah, these are all the modules. Let's get into the second build. And the second build is honestly my favorite of the 3, and does use some pretty cool build techniques, which I'll talk about. But we can start here, which I guess we can actually just get into the technique immediately, because it's right here. They suspend this piece over nothing, and that's done very curiously through this. They actually have 2 separate parts that are not connected at all, and they connect them simply with a bridge using those 2x4s. And I think that's a really cool thing, and I don't think they've done that in many sets, but that's a very cool way to do that, and I really like it. We can actually start up on the track. They do move around the quartz, the mushrooms, and the torch, of course, slightly, with the quartz being now with the magma cube, which is turning and facing the other way. But very cool. We can actually just get on with it by, I guess, showing you the course. I like to always do this just to show you how it works, and it is quite smooth. Obviously, they refined the minecart to make it longer in the next year, which is also more game accurate. It's more of a rectangle more than a square. But yeah, it is pretty smooth going around the track, and it does go up pretty well as well, and it maybe gets stuck on the curve a little, but yeah, a very cool thing. They also use the 2 2x4s that you would not use otherwise to make the lava flow up, which is a kind of cool, and I actually really enjoy that. A very nice second build. Let's get on to the third. And here we go with the third layout, by far taking up the most area in terms of just overall space. And it is pretty cool. We can start, I guess, at the beginning. Of course, they rearranged the quartz, mushrooms, and torch, as I said previously. But this actually puts the magma cube thing at the start. And as you can see, still works there. We can take the minecart up the hill, and it does have a very nice lava feature here. Not quite as cool as the other one with the lava going up, but still pretty cool. And it comes down here to a very cool segment with Steve mining quartz. There's a pigman, and also a loop. Now this loop is really smooth and very cool, and that's the thing I like most about this. I think the rest of it is cool, but the loop is obviously the main focus. I mean, that's pretty cool, and it just looks cool if you look at it from above. Very nice, and I'll do that again just because I like it. Oh yeah, perfect. And we knocked the pigman down as well. But yeah, a very cool little layout. The last thing to talk about is combining the set with others. It does have one in the instructions that is a very cool combination. The Wither Fight with this Nether Railway, which is really cool. The Wither Fight is one of my favorite old sets. I don't have it. I wish I had it. They came out with a new one recently. Don't have that one either. But if I ever find the old one, I'll be sure to review it because that's one of my favorites. But another unintended, at the time, connection, because the set didn't exist yet, is the 2018 Nether Portal set. I mean, it has Railway right there, and it can be easily connected to 2 points on this set. This one and this one, of course. Now I'll show you both because you can connect right there at the powered rail. Very cool. And now, Steve in that very nice enchanted helmet can have a very long ride to his friend over here. You can also connect it at the other point as well. Now Steve has to make a little turn in the rail to actually get over here, but still a very, very nice layout. You can also hook it up where it's actually connected to both sides in a loop. Of course, it's not an intended build, but you can do it, which I might as well show. And while it doesn't use all the pieces, I'm sure you could probably make a better one. This is what I came up with here, and I think it turned out pretty good. I actually really like how that looks. Just combine all the things together, and of course you could even add these lava bits and this terrain bit onto the side of it. I mean, very simple thing. But now, Steve can go on a full journey through the Nether... Through the Nether portal. We can just put him on there, pretend he went through. And up a rail and around. Obviously, the Nether portal doesn't want to cooperate. You may have to duck his shield or take off that glowstone for him to get through that entrance. But without destroying the entire course, we can kind of get through relatively unscathed, despite ripping apart half the entire environment. But yeah, I do hope you enjoyed. I know it was a bit of a longer video. I usually try to keep these Minecraft ones a bit shorter, just because they're Minecraft. They use a lot more simple pieces. There's not as much specialization. But since it's basically a 3-in-1, I mean, you gotta show off everything you can. So yeah, I do hope you enjoyed. I like this set. I really like it. This is one of the only sets, like old sets, that I'd recommend buying multiple of if you could find them cheap to combine. I mean, there's a lot of good old LEGO Minecraft sets, but if you have like multiple combined together, they don't look great. This one is one of the few exceptions, and I really like that. Anyway, I do hope you enjoyed. I like this set, and I hope you do too. I shall see you next time, and goodbye.